Hi everyone and welcome to the Learning Ladder. Today I thought I'd do a curriculum planning video, what I'm thinking of for the new year. I didn't do one last year, but I think I did one the year before. So yes, let's just get started. So definitely let me know in the comments what you're thinking about for this year. I really do like hearing other people's ideas. I love curriculum. I love curriculum season. It's just fun getting a big box of stuff to learn with, and it's just, I love the fact that we have the flexibility to choose what we want and, you know, go by interest as much as possible. And yeah, so let's just get started. So I have said previously that my daughter obviously is going to be going into 7th grade in the UK. That is the first year of high school, so I have been taking this year slightly differently than normal, just because we're going to a new stage of education, if you like. So I've been thinking about the future a lot more, and thinking about how I can ensure that what we're doing is going to meet her future needs and everything else. So she will be doing her GCSE exams in year 11. The courses start in year 10, and then year 11 is when she actually sits her exams. So I've been thinking a lot about, you know, what kind of jobs and things is she thinking about for the future, and how can I help ensure that I'm giving her the best opportunity possible to enable her to pursue her future dreams and goals. So she has been expressing for as long as I can remember that she loves animals, and she's thinking possibly that it might be a career with animals that she'd be looking at, veterinary nurse. She's also thought about having her own business as a rescue centre. She really likes that idea, so obviously animal themed. So my thoughts and you know, planning process would be to making sure we're covering all our sciences. So what I do is I go to the top, so vet, you know, what would we need for that, and then, you know, everything else will work its way down. So making sure definitely a good focus on science for this year. And then she's always been very interested and loved writing and storytelling and drawing, comics, books. She pretty much makes several every day because she loves it. That was one of the reasons why I made comic books in my Amazon store, because she goes through so many of them. I was buying them constantly, so it was nice to actually make my own, and then I could determine page count and everything else to make sure that I wasn't buying a virtually new one every week. But we go through paper like there's no tomorrow because she just loves it. She loves making books. She loves doing, as I say, comic book stories, just regular stories. So I definitely think writing / illustrator opportunities for the future might be something that she could go down. So that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking science, and I'm thinking writing and art. So those are my three focuses, I guess, for year 7. She doesn't need to decide what exam she's going to do yet. So, you know, we can keep it open as much as possible, but because those are her main interests and what she excels in and what she really enjoys, I want to make sure that I'm giving her a good solid foundation in those subjects. So in terms of everything else, I'll get to each subject as we go along, but we'll start with language arts first. So language arts through literature is something we've used since, I think, 3rd grade. I really do enjoy the curriculum. I love the fact it has literature extracts in there from different books, different genres. She's being exposed to different literature. She's learning through literature because she's having to find things in the passage, put the skills that she's learning into action. There's also writing in there. There's higher order critical thinking skills in there as well. There's enrichment. I really do like that curriculum. So it's definitely a hot contender, a high contender, because we have used it before. And one of the things that I always tend to do is look ahead in curriculum, and I really like the fact that they have American literature in the future. For high school, they also have British literature. So because we don't go all the way to year 12, we wouldn't be able to do every single one of the rest of their levels. So what I'll either do is go through with her and decide what books she would want, whether she wanted to do the British literature or the American literature. So probably do either one of them or both, and then not do one of the other options that they have. It just depends. We don't need to think that far ahead yet. We're in 7th grade, but that's something that I do have to consider, that we don't go to year 12 in the UK. High school, year 12, 13 are in college for further education, which is A-levels or vocational courses, that type of thing. A lot of people were shocked when I said that we only go to year 11 in high school. So year 12 and year 13, they do need to do something, so they can either get a job, as long as there is a training element to that job, training qualification to that job, which obviously at 16 it's going to be. They can go into further education, so college, and do A-levels, or they can do a vocational course. Those are the sort of options that they have here currently in the UK. So get a job as long as there's training. They can do an apprenticeship as well, which is slightly different than a job, because obviously you're being trained for a specific field, so electrician, whatever. There's so many different options for apprenticeships, and then obviously A-levels and vocational courses as well. So they do have to do something, but they just don't do it in a high school building, so no school uniform anymore, it's different. So yes, so we do finish in year 11, we don't go all the way to year 12. So those are learning language arts to literature, something that I would definitely think about considering for this year, and also continuing until year 11, the end, because I do really like that curriculum. Or we might finish it in year 9, so only potentially do 3 more years of it, and then she'll do her GCSE prep for her exams that way. I don't know, we don't need to think ahead that far yet. So that is definitely one of my contenders. I am also, as I mentioned earlier, the writing aspect. So she is a really good writer, and she really enjoys writing, and she also, as I said, really enjoys illustrating. I think it's a combination, so I could definitely see her as an author illustrator. I really could. Or obviously she could go either way, she could write or she could illustrate, but I'd be very shocked if she didn't choose to do illustration as well, because she loves to illustrate books. It's just one of her favorite things. So I want to make sure that what writing curriculum we're picking is going to be really strong for her, particularly if she is going to go on to college, university, and everything else. So I have used IEW in the past. It is very academic style writing, but they do have a creative outlay to it, and I do tailor it. So for specific units, they have creative writing, and then for other units, it's more, source text, you're working through that. But they do have the option, as I said, in the creative unit where you can make it your own version and things like that. So I don't think it's just, there's nothing creative in there, but I do think it's more of an academic style of writing. Which will set her up obviously for future. If she wants to go to university, she needs to be able to write papers and everything else. So I'm definitely thinking about doing IEW again. So there was a whole hoo-ha because I couldn't decide what level that we would do if we were going to do it, whether we do, because we did 1A 2 years ago, and technically speaking, we should have done 1B next. No, take that back. IEW is weird the way they do it. So you do 1A, then you do 2A. So basically you do 2 years in the same letter. So 1A, then 2A. So technically speaking, we should have done 2A, but we didn't because we didn't do it this year. So that means then I have a choice. We could do 2A in 7, or we could do 1B. So I contacted them and asked them, for their opinion and everything else. And they said that, depending on how well she did in 1A, it was up to me. We could go straight to 1B because she's in the age bracket for what they consider acceptable for 1B. She's not too young for it, so she could go straight into 1B, or she could do 2A. There's, as I said, there's no rush, it'd be fine. So I think right now I'm leaning towards going straight into 1B. I've spoken to a couple of people on YouTube, so thank you very much for your help if you watch my videos, and they have done both 1A and 2A, and from what they were saying, I think we would be fine to go straight into 1B. So we'll see. I haven't decided. So IEW is definitely a strong contender. As I said, probably 1B if we were going to do it. And then obviously they have the Fix It grammar as well. So there is grammar in learning language arts through literature, so I don't think we have to have Fix It grammar, but because the package with the IEW comes with it and it's scheduled on there and everything else, and it doesn't take long at all, we will probably, if we ended up doing IEW, do Fix It grammar as well. If, as I said, this is all my thought process video, nothing's decided yet. I have bought quite a lot of things, but not specific core curriculum. So I bought lots of books because I'm me. But I'll talk about that in a minute. Yes, that's what I'm thinking about for, I'm looking at my board, I'm thinking about for grammar and writing. So vocabulary, there's vocabulary in IEW, so that's great. There's vocabulary in Fix It grammar, so that's great. I also purchased a vocabulary book from my haul, from my homeschool haul that I did a couple of weeks ago. So we could do that one, or we could do something along the lines of what we've done this year, where we use my All the Words book, and I just find a good vocabulary book that I like, and we use that as a template possibly, we'll see. Those are my options. For spelling, we have done All About Spelling, which I really enjoy. We finished it now for this year. We haven't gone straight into the next level yet because I prefer to do one level a year, plus also we are using 180 days of spelling and word study, so I didn't think we needed to start straight on to the next level. So we do have 2 more levels of All About Spelling that we could do, which is 6 and 7. The reason we haven't done 6 yet is because we didn't do it for a couple of years, and it is mastery, so you are supposed to do each level unless there's a valid reason not to. So the last level we did was 5, so that is definitely a possibility. I was unsure because they have changed their spelling recently and it's all gone full colour with an activity book and everything else. So I was thinking, oh, I don't want to go and purchase 6 and 7 only for them to release brand new colour version activity book and everything else. But I asked them and they said they weren't going to be releasing them this year. So unless they've suddenly changed their mind, then I think I'd be safe to buy 6. With us moving though, I probably want to buy 6 and 7 at the same time, because then it's only one postage and you know, I'd have them for the next year. So All About Spelling, definite contender. There's also Spelling You See, so I've checked, there is one more level, Modern Milestones, that's what I think I'm going to call it. I'm not sure if that's the right one. I think it is that, but it's level G. Definitely a contender. I was thinking that we were not going to bother doing that now because, you know, we're going to be going into 7th grade and everything else, but I've noticed that it does have some things in it that are different, so it might be something that I might consider. Again, not sure. Definitely going to be doing 180 days of spelling and word study because I have purchased that, so I really like that curriculum, and that's the last level, so I'd like to finish that one up. I really like it for vocabulary as well, for spelling, you know, for grammar. There's so much more to it than just spelling. The word study aspect is what I like the best about that, so we're definitely going to be doing that one. I just don't know which one is going to accompany it, whether it's going to be All About Spelling, Spelling You See. I don't think we'll do all 3 of them again, so I need to really hone in on which one I want for 7th grade. Okay, so for maths, we are definitely going to be doing Saxon. I've already purchased it, so that's an easy one. Last year, well, as in this year, we also used, what was it called? Kitten Math, which she really enjoyed, and a Pet Store Math from Simply Charlotte Mason, which has been amazing. So I don't think I'm going to add anything to Saxon this year. I think we're just going to do solid Saxon. I did sort of have a little, oh, should we maybe think about doing, you know, Math You See pre-algebra as well? And then I was thinking, no, I think it's just going to be too much. Saxon's already takes a while anyway because of the nature of the curriculum, so I think we'll just do Saxon. I don't think we'll do anything else unless I see something really fun. I can always pick up any additional things I need throughout the year if necessary, but for this year we haven't used any supplementary at all. We've literally just used Saxon, apart from obviously those 2 other curriculums. What I mean when I say supplementary is workbooks to hone in on a certain skill if she was having difficulties. We haven't needed to do that this year, so not necessarily having difficulties, but if you need extra practice on anything, but we haven't needed to do that this year, so I don't envisage I'll need to do that next year either. But you know, obviously something comes up throughout the year, so I'm thinking I'm not going to buy anything else for math apart from Saxon, which I've already got. For science, now science is, as I said, it's one of my focuses, one of my goals, and I do have multiple options and I think I might end up actually doing multiple options. So we've always done pretty much science most days, so to me it's fine to do science every day. So in that respect, if we end up having to do, or decide to do by choice, not having but wanting to do 2 science curriculums, that would be absolutely fine, because the ones I'm thinking of is elemental science, which you can do every 2 days, so that would work out perfectly. I've also purchased Beowulf, human anatomy and physiology, or no, human anatomy and health, and that looks fantastic, and I've already started buying books for that one, so that's definitely a strong contender. So we could do that over 2 days. So she has it on a daily schedule, but the schedule is always, you know, buffet style, you choose what you want, so that would work out perfectly. So that'd be 4 days of science covered, and then we'd have our Friday, and on our Friday we've always done some kind of unit study style activity, so, or subject, so it varies throughout the year. I usually pick 4 to 5, so far this year we have done what was that called? The Who Was or What Was the Salem Witch Trials. We have done Harry Potter. We have done A Christmas Carol. We've got a chicken unit study coming up soon after we have finished our kingdoms and classifications, which is what we've been doing as well. So that was pretty much for the year. I might squeeze one more in. The lady who wrote the chicken unit is bringing some more units out, but I think I might save that for next year because I think it would go better with next year. So yes, I'm thinking I might add something for geology. We are doing geology as part of Dragon Academy, but I haven't got a curriculum. I've just got a book to go with that, which is Geology Lab. It's not with the other science, with biomes, with biodiversity and with chemistry. I did know my press, but the geology portion is just Geology Lab, which I think is a great book. But I'm toying with the idea of getting The Good and the Beautiful Geology. So that might be our last unit study of the year if I decide to get it. Again, not sure. So for our Friday unit study, I might get an extra science. So I saw, I can never remember the lady's name and I feel terrible. But I saw, I can't think of her channel name. I apologise. A video, and it was on Prentice Hall Science, and it looked really, really good. It reminded me so much of Harcourt Science, but it's for middle school. And they have an option where you can buy live physical earth, you know, sort of the full year version where you just do that topic. And they had another option where you could do it, I don't know if it's by a semester but they were shorter versions. So there was animal, there was, you know, lots of different ones that you could get. So I purchased animal, and I also purchased chemistry, but they're not full year ones. So what I thought we might do with those is we might use those as unit studies throughout the year, dipping into them for a Friday, because as I said, possibly going into a science related career, so I'm definitely going to want lots of biology. I'm definitely going to want chemistry for her in case she does decide to go that way. So that's what I'm thinking of for science, but again, I'll let you know. I did also purchase a UK curriculum as well for science that I've been pondering over, so again, we'll see. You'll find out in my video my curriculum video. Okay, so for art, that's going to be again another big one, because as I said, potentially thinking of future and whether she might want to go to writer, illustrator positions. So I have got an art curriculum in mind. We did the previous one this year for sketching, and then there's a next level up, and that's to do with watercolour, so we might do that. And then I've also bought several illustrator books, so you know, encyclopedia of illustrator books and how to illustrate, be a children's illustrator. And then I've also bought another activity book about illustrating, so that would go all with art. So that I think that pretty much art is pretty much done in terms of, apart from I just need to buy a curriculum, which would be the watercolor one. So I think that's what we'll do with art. History and geography, I have bought a curriculum to go with for geography, and I think we'll definitely give that a good try and see what she thinks of it. I do still have Beowulf geography from this year, which we haven't finished it, not even close, because it's a massive curriculum. We were doing Dragon Academy, which has been a good chunk of our geography because it was all about China. So there's definitely quite a lot of that, so I could combine them, or I could go either way. So I haven't decided yet for geography. For history, again, I've got two different history curriculums that I'm thinking of. I bought both of them so I can decide, you know, which they were both, well, one was used, one was new. So I wanted to see I wanted eyes on them so I could decide properly. I know it sounds daft and think, oh, it's such a waste of money, but it's not, because I can just sell it on, especially the used curriculum. So I'm not worried about, and don't be worried about, you know, wanting to see stuff in the flesh, because samples don't always work. You know, you don't always get a good idea. And this particular other curriculum, I couldn't find any samples of it anyway, so I'm in an R-ing between the two of them. I'll let you know, obviously, in curriculum video. And then let me think, IT, I've already got my curriculum for IT, so I'm doing a computing series, a computing curriculum series. I did show you the book in my homeschool haul, so we're doing year 7 of that particular course. I think it's from Oxford curriculum. So yes, that's pretty much what I'm thinking. So maths is pretty much covered unless I see anything else to add to it. I know the Simply Charlotte Mason one, she's brought out another one, which is, you know, life-based maths, but it's sports shop or something. I know she's not going to be interested in doing that. So I think we'll probably set with maths doing Saxon. Learning language arts through literature, a very strong contender, as is IEW. I could potentially do them both. I am going to do my schedule differently this year than we have done previously, just because as they get older, the time that is necessary for each subject is much longer than it was, say for example, grade 2, grade 3, and don't expect your kid to be done by lunch at this stage. I mean, they might well be, depending on what time you start, but you know, they might still have a few bits to do in the afternoon, and that's okay. I think that is pretty much everything in this video. So subjects wise, we're going to be doing language arts, math, history, geography, science, art, and did I say IT, and French, but we'll always have the unit studies that we throw in throughout the year for different interest-led things, and stuff, because it's fun, why not? And yeah, I think that's everything in this video. So let me know what you're thinking about for curriculum for next year. I'd love to hear, and I will be doing my curriculum video probably not until after we've moved. I have been buying stuff, and I probably will buy more before we leave, just because it's nice to have it with me rather than thinking, you know, I need to order it later when we move, and is it going to be more difficult because it's farther away and everything else. So I might end up buying it before we move, but I probably won't film my video until after we've moved and I've unpacked and settled and everything else. So it probably won't be for a while yet. But yes, let me know what you're thinking for curriculum. I'd love to hear. And I will see you in our next video. Take care. Bye for now.